The Democrat Party is in a full-on freefall, and we got the receipts. The numbers are so catastrophic for the left, so devastating, that even they are jumping ship. What you're about to see is not spin, it's not hopium, it's not wishful thinking, it's cold, hard data. And it tells the story of a MAGA movement that's winning, a political realignment that's accelerating, and a Democrat Party that's rotting from the inside out. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, enjoying yet another glorious day in Trump's golden age that you made possible back in November 2024. So if you want a front row seat on how you continue to change the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Also, this channel exists to keep faith, family, and freedom front and center while the media pushes utterly ridiculous chaos. My daily Patriot Alerts are how we keep this mission going and keep patriots informed. Scan the QR code, join the alerts, and stand with what we're building here, a legacy that lasts. All right, the latest polls just continue to be an absolute nightmare for the Democrats, as well as the increasingly dwindling number of pathetic podcast doomers. Take a look at the latest from Fox. Among Republicans who self-identify as MAGA, Trump has a 97% approval rating. 97%. But that, of course, pales in comparison to the latest NBC poll that found that Trump got a perfect score among the MAGA faithful. 100% approval. Even Harry Enton over at CNN had no choice but to marvel at that unprecedented polling. And the MAGA movement itself is growing. According to YouGov, 65% of Republicans now consider themselves MAGA, America First. That's the highest number of all their polling over the years on that question. When you ask, who do you think is winning the war with Iran? Look at this. This is everyone now. 76%, rightly, say the United States. It's not even close, but given the 24/7 hysterics, the propaganda pushed by the legacy media, you would think this is Vietnam 2.0. But unfortunately for the legacy media, the vast majority of the nation has tuned the legacy media out. They've turned them off, and they recognize that every single objective military metric unequivocally indicates the United States and Israeli forces have crushed Iran. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their ballistic missile capacity has been reduced by over 90%. Their drone capacity has been reduced by over 90%. Their manufacturing capabilities have been wiped out. Their leadership across the board, from the mullahs to the military, have been wiped out. We have total and complete air superiority to do whatever we want, whenever we want. Every single military metric unequivocally indicates that the United States and Israeli forces have decimated Iran's capacity to project power. And then there's the latest Insider Advantage polling on Trump's executive order to restore pay to TSA agents at our nation's airports. Nearly 80% of respondents fully support it. 80! I mean, this is why it's going nowhere for the Democrats. It's a political loser for them. And it's exactly what Trump needs to be doing with election security, voter ID, proof of citizenship. He needs to be signing these EOs. Again, these are what are called 80-20 issues that command supermajority support. And Trump is most popular. He's right in the middle of his, shall we say, his political sweet spot when he forces the Democrats to publicly stake their claims on the 20 side of 80-20 issues. And that political sweet spot is causing yet another Democrat to defect. Just days ago, South Carolina State Representative Lucas Atkinson officially switched from Democrat to Republican, filing to run for a sixth term in the state house under the GOP banner. Atkinson is a fifth-term lawmaker from Mullins, representing House District 57. He's been a Democrat state representative since 2016. He won his last race in 2024 pretty decisively with nearly 60% of the vote. So he's no political pushover. But now he's going to be running officially as a Republican. He'll likely face Democrat Cynthia Ford, the same opponent he defeated in the 2024 Democrat primary in the November general election in the midterms, which we will be talking about in a moment. Yet one more seat shifting right, and the Republicans just continue to gain at historic levels in South Carolina. The realignment of the South as a whole continues. Speaking of, in the meantime, we're waiting for the Supreme Court to hand down the VRA decision, striking down as unconstitutional a number of districts in solid red states that were redrawn explicitly to discriminate against and disenfranchise white voters. That's going to result in a pickup of at least a dozen new solid red seats throughout the deep red South, which of course then raises the question, what's the latest on the upcoming midterms? That's exactly what we are about to find out. Now, did you know that Alzheimer's isn't waiting for old age anymore? It's spreading, it's accelerating, and it's showing up decades earlier. Early onset dementia and Alzheimer's are on the rise. Reports show a 373% increase in diagnoses among 30 to 44-year-olds and a 311% increase in 45 to 54-year-olds in the United States in recent years. But when doctors attempt to treat these brain diseases, they often focus on medicating the brain itself, addressing symptoms like Band-Aid rather than solving the root cause. Alzheimer's disease is driven by chronic inflammation and oxidative stress, which damages brain cells and triggers the buildup of toxic proteins. Now, these same destructive processes fuel neurodegeneration, cognitive decline, and even increase cancer risk, yet they're rarely the primary target of treatment. The root cause of many brain disorders is found in the gut microbiome. Groundbreaking research now links gut bacteria directly to Alzheimer's disease and shows that what we consume plays a defining role in not just cognitive but overall health as well. Numerous studies suggest that the number one thing you can do to combat these chronic diseases is to consume kimchi. There's so many bioactive compounds in kimchi that have been found to improve cognitive and memory function by targeting amyloid beta. That's the main sign of Alzheimer's disease that forms those sticky plaques in the brain. Notably, these same protective mechanisms are linked to reduce cancer risk with kimchi's ability to suppress carcinogen activating enzymes. So that's why Brightcore created Kimchi One. It delivers all the benefits of real kimchi in convenient capsules. No taste, no smell, and no GMO. 100% made right here in the United States. Today you can get an exclusive offer by clicking the link below for 25% off your entire order, or for the best deal available, call my friends at Brightcore for up to 50% off plus free shipping. You'll love them. Call them now at 888-597-0233. That's 888-597-0233. Call them right now. So let's take stock of where things actually stand heading into November, because both the legacy media and the podcast panicans, the pathetic podcast doomers, want you panicking. They want you upset. They want you demoralized for their own nefarious exploitive purposes. And that's not this channel, right? My job is to give you accurate information and the best analysis out there. And throughout 2024, to that end, we turn to the amazingly accurate work of election analyst Seth Keshel. And he's delivering once again with the midterms. I think every single one of his predictions for 2024 came to be. I mean, he had literally 100% success record there. Well, he's giving some very good analysis of the best case scenario for the GOP, which he would argue hinges on the Virginia referendum failing like it looks like it's going to happen. That's what is playing out as we speak. The Virginia referendum is not doing very well for them to redistrict their state to a 10-1 Democrat state. So it depends on Virginia referendum failing, and then DeSantis picking up 5 seats in Florida in their redistricting. And he's not counting the upcoming VRA decision, which apparently Sam Alito is, as we speak, the one writing the majority opinion. So that's why most people believe it's going to work in our favor. Regardless, minus that, at this point, we are looking at about 212 Republican seats to 204 Democrat seats. So that would mean that the Republican would need to win just 16 of the 19 toss-up seats to maintain the majority at 218. Remember, because of gerrymandering on both sides of the aisle, most seats, well over 90% of them, are either solid red or solid blue. So there's really, in the end, only about 19 toss-up seats, and we would only need to keep 6 of them. All we have to do is just center and coalesce all of our fundraising and all of our political efforts in those 6 seats. And again, remember, we've been talking a lot about this on our Monday Night Live Q&As with our Insider Club members. But a little dose of reality here. Midterms historically suck for the party in power, okay? There's no way around that. Again, even Reagan, in the height of his popularity, 60% in 1986, lost seats in the House. In the last century, it just didn't matter how popular the sitting president was. Over the last 100 years, they've lost seats in every single midterm, for the exception of just 3 midterms. Now, that said, if ever there were a time for that rare occasion where the party in power doesn't lose seats, if ever there were a time for that to happen, again, it's 2026. And that's simply because the Democrats have gone insane. It's simply because the left has reached levels of lunacy we've never seen. They are consistently staking their claims on the 20 side of the 80-20 issues, which is setting them against the vast majority of the voting public. And as a result, make no mistake, the party is disintegrating. Disintegrating in terms of support, but even disintegrating, as we've seen, with a record number of defections of Democrats joining Republicans. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Liberal Patriot. It's a newsletter of moderate Democrats. They actually produce some pretty good stuff. They've consistently recognized that wokeness is killing their party. They're called the Liberal Patriot. They're done. They just announced this the other day. They're out of business. They're closing permanently, as it were. And that's because there's no interest in common sense policies on the political left. The political left has gone nuts. So a website called the Liberal Patriot is too MAGA for them. It's a party that's finding it increasingly difficult to galvanize significant majorities outside of the radical left metropolitan enclaves. I mean, take a look at the latest Quinnipiac. They've got an 18% approval, for heaven's sakes. 18%. Now, of course, if no one's coming out to vote, like in some of these primaries, that's when the most rabid lunatic leftists can actually make some electoral gain. Sure, no question. But in a general election, that is going to be increasingly hard. Again, I want to stress that does not mean that the Republicans are going to keep the House. But what it does mean is that the Democrats have an uphill battle as well. The Republicans have an uphill battle in that they're battling history, but the Democrats are battling their own insanity and their radical unpopularity. They continue to hemorrhage voters, right? The voter registration crisis that we talk about often on this channel is very, very real. Since 2020, they've lost millions upon millions of voters, while the Republicans are gaining millions upon millions. We're still several months away from November. Rush Limbaugh always used to say the issues that'll shape the November election haven't even happened yet. So we got lots of time. And as things stand, time is not on the lunatic left's side.